Welcome to Cut the COVID Crap Part 93, a solution to the Palestine question. New t-shirt. So, the Palestine question. You're made to believe that you have to pick a side. Um, that's a bit odd to me. I mean, like you're either on the Palestinian side or you're on the Israel side, and if you're on the Israel side, you're an Islamophobe, but if you're on the Palestinian side, then you're a Hamas supporter, and you're sorry, if you're on the Israel side, then you're sorry, Palestine side, you're a Hamas supporter and you're anti-Semite, whatever. All up, most people I think wouldn't support being violent to innocent people. So of course I don't support the Hamas attack on the Israeli people. I think it's bad. Um, and the Hamas ideology of destroying Israel is bad. So definitely that. But does that mean that you um, that if you think that attack is bad, does it mean that all the Palestinian people are bad? That's a bit strange to believe that. Um, and if you support Palestinian people, that doesn't mean that you support Hamas. That's a different story. Just like um, supporting Israeli people in general doesn't mean that you agree with the politics. Like that doesn't mean that you support Netanyahu um, killing thousands of innocent Palestinian people. So um, to the idea that you have to pick a side. No, you don't have to pick a side. You can choose for humanity. And you, no matter where people come from, you the idea that you support the not killing of innocent people, no matter where they come from, makes sense from a moral point of view, I think. And then you don't pick sides. And if that means that people call you anti-Semite or Islamophobe or racist, whatever, so be it. Is it really? Do you want to put your morals aside because you're just afraid to be called racist? I mean, just to give an example, because like, yeah, I like to be friendly to people in general. My personal experience is that like if I'm on the street and I'm passing by random strangers, um, I tend to greet them if there's a bit of if their face shows that they're friendly people. Well, um, uh, my experience is that most people that look like they come from African descent are friendlier. So my judgment is that I tend to greet African people more often than white people. So that's so you can call me a racist for that. And technically, I would agree with you. Should there be different rules for different races? No way. But do people have particular preferences based on their IDs or experiences? No problem. If that makes you a racist, then yeah, so be it. If people want to call you racist for that, so be it. I have no problem with it. Really, no problem. Um, just like if you're just like the majority of the people, if you're against vaccination mandates, especially on new vaccinations, yeah, then if people call you an anti-vaxxer, it tells more something about the people calling you that than yourself. So stick to your morals. I mean, if a day of reckoning comes and you're faced with the question, why did you vaccinate your child? And you say like, well, I wanted to travel with him or her, and I was required to take it. So you forced a experimental vaccine on your child just because you wanted to travel. Can you justify that for yourself? If you can, fair enough. But don't be afraid of being called names, because like being called names is, as long as your choices are morally justifiable for yourself. Yeah, don't worry about what you're being called. Back to the Palestine situation. I mean, what's the solution, right? We got to go to a solution in the end. Um, think of Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland for decades has been in conflict because some people were more Protestant and on the English side, and others were more Catholic and on the Irish side. And you know what? They both thought they had they wanted to determine for Northern Ireland what the rules were, and it was roughly 50-50. Yeah, as long as people of different convictions are living in the same area, do you really think you can end that conflict by violence? That doesn't have seemed to work in the past, right? I mean, either you completely exterminate one side, or you don't, and if you don't, then the only solution is that people get along. So what's the solution? The solution for the Palestinian conflict, just like any other war, is be nice to the people that are near to you. No matter what they believe, no matter what their history is, as long as they don't physically harm you, be nice to the people around you. That's it. There's nothing more to it. And you can say like, oh, but the Israeli people should own land or not, and the Palestinian people should own land or not, or not. What do you mean by people owning land? Like, as a person, you're born somewhere, and that's where you grow up, and you try to make the best out of it. Yeah, I think people of born in an area close to and in a particular area, and they feel close to each other, they should govern their own land and like let them decide what their own land is. So yes, I do think that Palestinian people, if they feel very much different from Israeli people, um, should govern themselves, just like Israeli people should be able to govern themselves. And of course, there's things in the past that people being displaced and stuff. But like now, going forward, be nice to people around you and let people govern themselves. And I don't support any war. Like, what do you think you create with war? Like, if you're born in a Palestine, and yes, I think these days or in the last decades, Palestinian people have been more suppressed than Israeli people. If you're born in the Palestine, you're you have less freedoms than when you're born as a Jew in current day Israel. So yes, I do feel more sorry for the Palestinian in these situations. I do feel sorry for the Jews in Nazi Germany, of course, but like you know, um, again, supporting giving rights to people in the place where they're born, doesn't that make sense? And why would you want to revenge on? Like, of course, I don't support the Hamas attack on Israel, and I don't support Hamas at all. And I think most people, probably most Palestinians, don't support Hamas. Although I can imagine that after a couple of decades being suppressed, you have a certain bias if you're Palestinian. and if peaceful doesn't work, then you get desperate. But anyway, I don't justify justify violence or justify war. Um, yeah, I think I'll yeah, and if you think you have to pick a side, like you see the attack on the hospital being destroyed. Do you think you really get unbiased news? Like you can bet whenever you see something like that, both sides of the story will have both sides will have a story. Like the Palestinian or the Hamas says like, oh, it's Israel attacking a hospital, which is a war crime, and the Israelis say like, oh, it's a Hamas rocket that was misfired. Yeah. Do you think from a distance you can make that judgment? You're exposed to propaganda from both sides. So based on what you see on the based on what the man on the TV says, do you think you can make an honest judgment? Stick to your morals. Be nice to people around you, no matter what they believe. And then you'll see that you have much more common um, common ground than people think. We'll leave it at this for today.